Hello, welcome to a tutorial today. I'm going to show you how we do our tie-dye of a particular item we're going to actually create as a class. Firstly, we're going to actually do some cutting of our fabric in preparation for the tie-dye, and we're going to be using a natural fabric, which is, I've chosen calico. So let's get started. I have the two pieces of fabric cut, which will be our now straps. I'm just going to prepare them for our next stage of our tie-dyeing. So let's begin. Now, I've got everything here. I have a multitude of rubber bands. I have my fabric here. I'm going to pinch my fabric and I'm going to gather it around like so. You can make these as little or as big as you would prefer. I'm going to allow roughly around about 1 to 2 centimeters down from the top of my cone to place the band around. Okay, so you can work your way up and around your fabric as you go. So bearing in mind, we're going to be using our gloves to protect our hands, our safety goggles to help protect our eyes. Now, I'm actually using turmeric, which is the chosen dye that we're going to use. It is an organic product, so it is an edible product. Okay, so I've brought the pot over to the stove and I'm going to ignite the stove. I'm currently using gas, so when using gas, you do have to be very careful and mindful of the flame. Okay, as you can see, we now have our water that is actually on boil. So you can see the steam rising. So we're going to be very careful not to get that steam in our eyes, hence why we're wearing our protective glasses or goggles. Now, what we're going to do to prevent the heat, and it is very, very hot, so be very mindful, we're going to use our long tongs. So we're actually going to pick up our fabric, which is our handles, and we're going to just submerge slightly. I'll get the other one in there as well. And I'm just going to push them down into the water to submerge fully. So I'm just going to turn my heat off. Very carefully, I'm actually going to use a cloth so that I do not burn my hands on the very, very hot pot. I'm going to take it over to my hot pot plate. Very carefully taking this out, I'm actually going to put the plug in, fill the sink with cold water. Now remember too, because we've got the dye and it is very runny, be mindful that you don't splash because it's very, very hot. So just going over some of our precautions and our safety features of what we've done today. You've got to be mindful of care and safety, not just to yourself, but to others that are around you. That is your prime and proper care of duty, okay? Or duty of care, as they say. So what I actually had to do, I had long hair, so I tied back my hair to stop it from being in my face, but also not getting any hair or anything in the way of the process we were doing today. I've worn protective gloves to stop the dye from dyeing my hands and colouring my hands, plus protection of my skin. I have an apron on to protect my clothing. I also have closed-in leather covered shoes to protect my feet so that no boiling water or splatter will go onto my feet. I also have protective eyewear so that I'm not going to get the steam from the residue of the boiling water, and also to just protect my eyes from anything that might irritate them or anything like that. I also removed jewellery such as my watch, any rings, bangles that I would normally wear, just because they can be rather heat sensitive and can conduct heat quite severely against your skin, so you don't want to burn yourself. And it's also just a hygienic factor not to have jewellery on in that process. So be mindful, be careful, and always use PPE protection when you are dealing with tie-dyes and anything that is hot and nasty that can burn anyone.